cases and armed robbery has left the population in fear and frustration. Our security efforts to curb these menace is weakened. Some of the officials in the presidency has now become an open campaign team for the NPP on Facebook. Instead of going to work in the office, they sit on the Facebook talking to politicians, including those charged with key responsibilities that are supposed to advise the president on matters of national interest. The most recent controversy is the president's statement on the third term bid. The ASD has great regard for laws, policies embedded in the Gambian constitution, and therefore we understand that the Gambian current constitution, the 1997 version that we currently have, did not provide for a term limit for presidency in Gambia. Our most consultative draft constitution 2020, which provided for such laws, has not been enacted and is gathering dust in our National Assembly building. ASD hereby advocates for the Gambians to understand that term limit is in our own votes. Whether limit or not limit, if we vote massively to disengage anyone, we can achieve what we want. Let's vote for change in 2026 overwhelmingly, and this will solve the term limit. The reason for leaders to monger for continuing to stay in power is because ASD, our opinion on the Gambian President Adama Barrow's statement on why he chose to pursue a third term in office, stating that his political party, the NPP, is so young, that's why he couldn't step down, because if he does so, the party is going to die. So this is making us believe that you either use the presidential powers or the resources of the state to strengthen the party, because political parties are growing and they are not in the in Marina Parade. ASD hereby advocates for Gambians to understand that still term limit is in our votes. This is one of the reasons why the Alliance of Social Democrat Movement remains a change agent, and our candidate aspired as an independent aspirant in elections and not a party politics, because party politics have a centered interest. When a group of party people come to take over the estate, the first thing they think of is individual compensation and order. That is why for us at ASD, we don't go in for partisan politics. We advocate for better voting for Gambians, wise voting. While we have our candidate, if you are elected in as president, we will remove you without partisan interest. That is one of the reasons why they remain. This is one of the reasons why the Alliance of Social Democrats Movement remains a change agent of our candidate as we aspire for elections in 2026. When a political party is elected into office, most of the time it serves the interest of their donors. You know, those who fund political parties. Yes, political party must be funded. Political parties must be funded by the membership of the party. And political party funds must be declared. There has to be a transparency. They must show how the funds come out. Yes, our IEC when strengthened and then know what they are doing, there should be some laws that will coordinate the source of funds for political parties, and you have to declare it. The need for transparency in political parties' financial source. The presidency is entrusted with the national treasury, our national treasury, to empower the people only and not the ruling party politics. The presidency is again vested with the power that belongs to the people, but not to monger influence. That is, you monger influence to get donors because they expect something in return because you are sitting in Marina Parade. So by the president's statement, one may suggest that the key influence that one can use to empower your ruling political party as an incumbent is only through the presidential vested powers and the use of state resources to finance or be financed by donors of special individual political interest. This is the best time for Gambian electoral process. The Independent Electoral Commission and other democratic institutions to set an eye on political parties' financial disclosure and clearance of source, especially the incumbent in elections. The incumbent here, I mean, is the sitting president, the party he belongs to. Over the course of Gambians' experience in politics, it has witnessed the negative impact of money on politics and governance. There is increasing evidence that corruption and unregulated donations are exercising undue influence on politics and undermining the integrity of elections. In the Gambia, money from organized crimes has infiltrated politics to gain control over elected officials and public institutions. That brought corruption. Corruption can cause very serious consequences. These threats to democratic politics help explain why large numbers of people around the world are losing faith in politicians and democratic processes. Opposition political parties and change agents trust government less because of the ruling political party's influence on big donors. Yeah, because they are the ones who can influence big donors to come and build political houses for them and then do all other things. The need to regulate and control undisclosed political financing transparency is instrumental to democracy and security, which serve as a major challenge to the integrity of elections in emerging and mature democracies alike. Democratic institutions and our National Assembly must ensure regulated political finance is included in our electoral law. Yes. If not, it can diminish political equality, provide opportunities for organized crime to purchase political influence, and undermine public confidence in elections. Indeed, a failure to regulate political finance threatens to hollow out democracy and rob it of its unique strength. That's what it does. Citizens of the Gambia want political parties and governments to represent their views and be responsive to their needs when elected into office. All too often, parties are disproportionately representative of the interests of the donors. Instead of the interests of the people, now they will be there for the interests of the donors. We are all seeing some of the things that are going on, some of the awards of contracts by government and other things is as a result. Largely finance them because if large corporations and rich individuals are able to buy greater influence through large campaign donations, yes, when it is time to campaign, whoever donates largely to certain sitting governments, you are their priority. Then citizens can lose faith in or be marginalized from the political process. That's what happened to us. This is compounded by a lack of citizen participation in political parties. Gambian citizens should participate in political parties and political process, which further adds to people's alienation from politics. Although the funding of electoral campaigns and political parties has an important role in the functioning of democracy, unregulated money in politics means that the political playing field is not level. The explosive growth in campaign expenditures fuels the perception that wealth buys political influence and threatens political equality. The abuse of state resources by the ruling party to put itself in advantageous position also remains a problem in this country, in many countries. This lack of level playing field prohibits the equal participation and representation of all citizens in democratic political processes. Recent years have seen a growing penetration of transnational organized crime and illicit funds into politics. Electoral finance and lack of transparency and oversight are providing opportunities for organized crime to gain influence over political party elected officials by financing their campaigns. This not only undermines democracy, good governance, and the rule of law, but also has negative consequences for economic development and the alleviation of poverty. There is clearly an urgent need to better control political finance. Governments should regulate political donations and expenditures effectively. This will require full transparency and disclosure of donations with penalties for non-compliance. Effective monitoring and enforcement of regulations are also crucial. This is the reason Madam Marisok of the Alliance of Social Democrats movement shall remain a change advocate and an independent presidential candidate till 2026. In conclusion, the ASD shall continue and strengthen its advocacy and campaign, and the Gambian society, and we will not relent. We will continue strengthening our campaign both up and at the grassroots to ensure that the following is achieved in Gambia. One, social justice, rule of law, and democracy, not limited to, but some of these things we must see that they happen before, and we won't relent in our campaign. Society free of corruption and oppression. Government for the people, by the people, and of the people. Government prioritize the inclusivity and rights of women and girls. Prioritize the security of the inhabitants of the society by getting rid of murderers and armed robbers on the street of the Gambia. We have all seen what happened, I can say last week. Just we have four murder cases in different locations within the Gambia, within four days that happened. It's really alarming. Our security situation is going into the mud, definitely. And then prioritize the security of the inhabitants of the society by getting rid of murderers and armed robbers on the streets of the Gambia. A term limit clause is embedded in the Gambian society. We want to see that a term limit clause is embedded in the Gambian constitution. We cannot get it there now, it's gathering dust. But when we vote against the sitting government, we will be able to put it back there in the next dispensation. Access to justice and information are promptly served to the citizenry. They have constituted a commission for information to justice. But I don't believe they respond rapidly when you request for information, and that is the key reason for them. And we shall jealously guide and protect the sovereignty of the Gambia from being bottled and confined to where it doesn't belong. We ASD would want to see the sovereignty of the Gambia protected, and that it is not being bottled by any individual, group, or a nation, and confine Gambia to a small space where we don't belong to. We will make sure we don't see that. May God bless the Gambia. Thank you all.